Namaste, Vitruvians. We are back for another spotlight. Good morning, good evening, good day to everybody. Hi, Mike. How are you doing?
Good morning. Good morning. Good day, everybody. Good to see everybody. Another exciting spotlight today with plenty of updates that I'm
Yes.
excited to discuss.
Yes. Hi to
Um,
everyone there. I see a lot of familiar faces. Hello, Mystique, Apricot, Photo, Doc, Biz, Marriott, Arjun, Pam, Tina. Let's see, Rich, Tartan Madman is here. G Giant, Tanya, Eagle Rider, Ganesh. Hello, hello. I Fly a Bus. Cetich. Hello, 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 hello to everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So we have a lot of content as always. We start off the morning thinking, we won't have much, and then like by the time we get to the showtime, it's like, whoa, we got a lot to discuss. So let's. I think we should get going. Yeah.
yeah, let's do it.
All right. Here we go. Welcome, everyone, to season 6, episode 4 of the Vitruveo Spotlight. It's January 24th, 2025. I'm Nick Kalyani, founder and CEO, and with me is Mike Purdy, COO. And the Vitruveo Spotlight is where we review the events of the past week and review what are some of the exciting things coming up in the next week. So let's get started. Let's start with a protocol update. The as I reported last week, we have resumed testing on DevNet now. So we are doing real-time testing of all the features we put there, the rebasing, etc., and that is going as planned. And our next steps are concurrent testnet and VTech testing. So that's happening in a few days, and then we'll roll it out to the whole mainnet. So that's on schedule as planned. Everything is progressing well. All right, next up, let's get a quick update on Exhibit. So with Exhibit, as you know, we had planned a lot of features rollout in January, and I'm pleased to report that those are on a schedule and being rolled out. So there are two things in particular that we've been looking forward to is Exhibit stores. Phase 1 is ready, and we are targeting Wednesday to begin some general access for it. We are looking at some beta testers right now. We'll probably by Monday invite some of them, make sure that there are no hitches, and then go on. What I want to do real quick is to refresh everyone's memory about what that's about. So as you know, Exhibit Stores is the ability for anyone to, in 10 or 15 minutes, create their own marketplace based on the artwork assets that are in the store. You can filter them and you can put your own branding, and you'll have your own URL at which you can create the store. So let's take a quick peek at how that would be. I'm not going to go into a full-fledged demo, but just kind of hit the highlights. So when you're in Studio, you have a stores section. And in a previous spotlight, I demoed how I would set up the Horizon gallery. Let's go look at that gallery again real quick. So the way it works is as an organization, a collective, a group, it really doesn't matter. If you can be an individual also who creates your own store. What you do is you put in your URL. So I put in Horizon here, and the ultimate URL will be exhibit.live. So that's automatically how it becomes. And then you give it a name, you give it a description, and you upload some logos and some banners. And you can see here it shows a preview on the right-hand side of how that's going to look. You can also mark up the price of the sales that come from the store, and those go straight to you. Next up, what you can do is filter what is shown in your store. So you can choose any filter you want that's available. You can filter by artist, and just about anything your heart desires is fine. You can do that, and then that essentially creates your store. And here I have a preview of my store. Here you can see it's live, and there's artworks, etc., all going on. Let me reload the page to make sure I get the latest content here. But yeah, it puts your title, your banner, your description, and your filter of artwork. So I chose just photography, so it only shows me photographs. Of course, I can filter by artists, I can filter by license types, I can filter by just about anything. And this is exactly how you'll have the ability to create your own store. Now, as time progresses, we'll add more features and make it where you can customize further. But our goal was to launch this feature and get going so that we can start testing it out and ensure that we can get more eyeballs on artworks out there. All right, so that is exhibit stores coming up next week, and the next thing is truLevel. So truLevel, our code is ready, but we were waiting for verification on from Synapse on, and there is an issue. We found the issue, and they have told us how to fix it. We are fixing it, and we are targeting next week for invitation only beta testers for truLevel. So it's just a matter of making sure that the KYC provider API and our software is working correctly, and we've identified the issue and we fix that, and it's time to move on. So next week we'll also start with truLevel. It'll probably be the latter part of the week, not the earlier part of the week, because we focused on stores first. All right, next up, let's go into the 20 million staking challenge update. So as everyone in our community probably is aware, Evolution issued a 20 Garfield issued a 20 million token challenge for our community, and basically the objective was, if our stake Vitru total reaches 20 million by Jan 31, 2025, then 20 million Savo tokens will be airdropped to Vitru stakers. And we rose up to the challenge also, and we said that if that goal is achieved, then your verse units are going to be doubled. So instead of one verse unit, you're going to have two verse unit. So this is a guaranteed, even if we have to increase the community allocation, that's not a problem. We'll do that. And let's take a look at where we are. I am very, very pleased to report that our community has been stepping up. And actually, I think my screenshot might be a little old. Let's go look at it live. Yeah. And there it is. So we are at 18.2 million staked and 1.8 million to go. So we've definitely moving the needles here. We hit our goal for last week. We are 500,000 away and 1 day shy of hitting our goal for this week. So it looks like we are on track to meet that challenge. And I want to thank everyone in the community who has stepped up and staked, because it does make a big difference. This is us all working together, all pulling together. And a shout out to all the folks who have been encouraging others to stake, etc. Especially, I want to shout out to Mystique, who's been doing a phenomenal job there, getting creators to stake, and really everyone. This is a community, really nice thing, and I want to thank Garfield also for issuing the challenge, because it's brought us all focused on a common goal. Mike, do you have any thoughts on where we are and how the community is responding?
Yeah, it's been amazing the last couple of weeks just to see everybody come together and with a common goal of managing the supply, supporting the central exchange listing. It really is a complicated problem, and it's always you're always trying to figure out from an investor standpoint, what's the right move? Do I keep 25% liquid? Do I stake the rest? But honestly, that Nick and I have been very, very, very flexible and very supportive, and it's a community-driven project. We really are trying to kill it for you guys and really set us up for the best central exchange listing that's right around the corner. So just know that you have our support. We're staking everything that we've got, locking away the team tokens and doing our part. So all of your support, it just makes the chain stronger, at the central exchange list, and it prevents us from having bigger issues after the central exchange list. The worst thing that could happen after list is we trade flat, or there's too much liquidity removed and we don't give the chain enough time to grow. So all of these tools and things that we're doing in order to reduce the supply really do set us up for success long term. So thank you for those of you that really stepped up and taken on the challenge. And it's not a punitive thing to stake. It's actually, we're rewarding you with diverse units. We feel that Flix Fund is going to be one of the most profitable revenue streams for the blockchain, coming out the gate. And so stacking up on Verse units is going to be highly, the profit potential on that vertical is going to be massive. So we're very excited about it. And thank you for all of, the community members that have stepped up. And also for community leads like Mystique, who's really taken a leadership role with the creator leads, or with the creator community. Thank you, Mystique. You've been such an amazing ambassador and creator lead for us, as well as Pam. Thank you, Doc, as well, and all the creators that have stepped up as well, that have really seen the vision and really understand that sustainable income comes through investment and comes through investing in the blockchain. So thank you.
All right. Well, we still have a goal. So thank you, but we still have to meet our goal. How can we increase the level of staking, right? So we thought about this problem and we came up with a solution, largely inspired by some suggestions from people in our community. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to take the current Verse staking that we have, which is stake Vitru for 3 years at 0% APR, one stake Vitru, one Verse unit, and extend it to new Verse staking options, because the feedback we heard from everybody is shorter periods of time. But shorter periods of time is unfair to folks who have already staked. So how do we do that? Well, what we want to do is make the ratio of Vitru to Verse conversion higher. So what we want to do is introduce now staking terms for 30 months, 24 months, 18 months, 12 months, and 6 months. But as you can see on the right-hand side, the amount of Vitru that you would be staking is progressively higher. So if you want a shorter stake, then yes, you can get it. We'll be adding that shortly, but you will have to stake more Vitru, all right? So that's basically how it's going to work. And that will actually help us get to our goal faster, I think, as more people who are sitting on the sidelines, not wanting to make a 3-year commitment, can make a shorter commitment, and they can have a bigger stake. And so we should see that. So we'll enable that next week, and hopefully we can use it to hit our goal very, very quickly. So I hope everyone likes this, and we will enable it as quickly as we can. All right, next up, let's talk about community partners. So, community partners are the lifeblood of this protocol, the ecosystem. They help us grow. And in past spotlights, we've featured a few, we've talked to a few, we've introduced a few, etc. But I just want to shout out today to, first of all, Garfield and Sabong Evolution, very, very strong partner. And we have other partners at various levels. And what we want to do is talk a little bit about our partners, but in particular, announce a new partner project. And for that, we are going to have a special flashlight on Tuesday, time TBD, but stay tuned. This is a partner you're going to love. It's going to be really, really exciting. And we'll also talk a little bit about how we want to have a more formal relationship with our community partners. So excited about that. That is coming up. So looking forward to it on Tuesday. Mike, do you want to add any hints or anything like that at all? I don't want to put you on the spot, but if there's anything you want to add there.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a very, very big project that's coming on chain. Trying to think about what I can disclose. I'll give you one hint.
Okay.
So any token that launches on our exchange is going to be very, very grateful for this integration.
Okay.
So that's all I'm going to say. So
All
anything
right.
from Liftoff Monster, anything from any other project that comes on chain, any token that's traded on chain is going to be very grateful for this project.
All right. That's a good hint. That's a good hint. All right. So new project partner coming on board on Tuesday. And continuing in the stream of new things, what I want to do now is talk about a new initiative. This is a broad and very deep initiative. Sit back and let's talk about it. All right. So let's look at why this new initiative has been created in terms of goals. First of all, so there are three goals that we want to address. One is communications. What we want to do is we want to prevent bad actors from access to our privileged Discord channels. We want to make sure that it's a community that is having a healthy discussion there. Next goal, we want community champions. We recognize that there are people in the community who are very good supporters, and we want to reward them. And finally, when it comes to trading, we want to prevent bad actors from dumping on the community. That's a problem. Let's go into more detail on each of these. So let's start with communications. I think it's been a while now that we've had the term OG in our community, and it's about time for it to be deprecated. It has no significance anymore. It has lost its meaning. And what we want to do is we want to start including new members of the community who are contributing and who deserve to be quote unquote insiders in our conversation. Um, and so as a result, what we've decided is we're going to remove the Genesis OG channel, and you'll see what we're going to do in place of that in just a moment. But we really want to recognize that our community has shifted drastically. There's a lot of new people and a new energy to it, and we want to uh, put the OG aside and start with something new. All right. So the next is community champions. As I've mentioned, there's many new people in the community. They are very supportive. They are staking. They are trading responsibly. They are providing referrals to projects. They are discussing ideas. They're attending our events. So these are all uh, behaviors that we want to recognize, and we want to thank, and we want to show people that we appreciate them. So this is a really important thing for us to do. And last is trading. So this is an important point, as we have talked on many spotlights. Mike has gone into great detail about things like liquidity and things like that. So let's look at what we've done so far. So when we introduce trading on our decks here, we introduce it with a circuit breaker. So what does that do? That control the flow of rapid true, but it was abused by poorly coded bots. Essentially, the bots recognize that what time the circuit breaker would reset and would essentially prevent normal people from getting in there and just take on a lot of the quota themselves. So that was basically abuse, and a lot of those bots were written in a very poor code, very poor development skills. So they tended to also hurt our infrastructure. So over time, though, we removed that circuit breaker, and in a surprise move, which the community did not expect, we added bridges to BSC and ETH, and we were live then on PancakeSwap and Uniswap, and we still are. So this is something that no one really expected, but we did that, and we did that in uh, wanting to learn a little bit more about the behavior and understand how things would work. And what we found out is that our price was flat. We invested capital in marketing, but it ended up being wasted because of excessive dumping of tokens. We basically, every time the price rose, people would sell, and as a result, it remained flat. So we've learned from that. We understand what the behavior is, and we understand now to be more selective in our marketing. We've dialed back our marketing because it's pointless as we get new investors in and the price moves up. Immediately there's sells, and as a result, it impacts things adversely. So those are the problems. So let's be clear about one thing. We are currently in survival mode, and we are not going to allow a few individuals to control the future success of the community. As you saw from the staking challenge, a vast majority of the community are really believe our vision and are on board and are supportive of it and will do their part 100% to get things done. So we can't allow the needs of the many, as Spock would say, you know. So we need to focus on those, and we need to make sure that all our actions are geared towards our community that is supportive, and not allow a few individuals who, you know, who are just interested in only one thing, to sell their coins to impact our future success. Now, here's the thing: we've had open access to the dexes for a while now. Everyone who's wanted an opportunity to exit has had that opportunity. Even prior to that, there were ability for people to exit through various means. It's all been done. And now what we want to do is focus on the success of our chain and on the success of all the folks who are on board here, who really want us to have a big success. That's what we are planning for, and that's what this new initiative is about. So how are we going to do it? Well, we have a simple plan. Today, I would like to introduce the Vitruveo Passport. So what is the Vitruveo Passport? Well, let's take a look at it. So the Vitruveo Passport is an NFT that will be issued to all the individuals who are supportive and responsible community members. So these are folks who are participating in Discord, staking, being responsible with trading, and really being part of the community, and helping us grow, helping us succeed. So this is what the Vitruveo Passport is about. Let's look at what its features are. First of all, it's going to be connected to one Discord ID, and it's going to be connected to one wallet. It's non-transferable. In crypto, we call it soul-bound. And it's going to have app-specific settings and privileges. So what does that mean? Well, you'll see in a moment. But the important thing to note is it's connected to one Discord ID, and it's connected to one wallet. All right. Now, starting next week, we will initiate the passport issue process. The way it works is there will be a page. You will submit a request. A moderation team will review your Discord and wallet history, and based upon that, either issue or defer. Defer essentially means no action. So our priority is to issue passports for the people who have all the attributes I talked about earlier. They have shown, have communicating well in Discord, have a history of trading responsibility, of not dumping and things like that. So we'll issue that. All the others will defer for the future when there will be communal voting. So all the other passport holders will vote on whether to approve that passport and grant it or not. So we want to make the passport holders sort of be the folks who have been contributing to our protocol. As I mentioned earlier, we want to reward good behavior and reward community focused behavior. So what next? Well, the priority, as I said, more specifically, individuals who have a high stake ratio. So let's say that you have a total wallet balance of like 20,000 and you staked 1,000. That's a lower stake ratio. But if you staked 19,000 or 18,000 of that 20, that's a high stake ratio, right? So also folks who have invested in the project, our validators, our boosters, people who have purchased Vortex, Orbit, etc. So we are going to take a 360-degree look really at the wallet and what behaviors it has displayed. People who have provided liquidity on our DEXs, community contributors, people who show up at events, or even who host events, etc. So we're going to have a formal list of these, and the criteria we're going to be using. We'll share those details next week with you. But rest assured, the behaviors that are good for the community, those are going to be rewarded, and we want to prioritize access to them. So in other words, we want to make sure that everyone who has demonstrated this gets a passport issued as quickly as possible. All right. Now let's look at what the application specific privileges will be. Well, first of all, Discord, we're going to create a new Vitruveo Insiders channel, and only passport holders will have access to it. So if you have demonstrated these behaviors, we want your input. We want to be able to communicate with you. We want your criticism. We want your feedback. We want your kudos. We want all of that. And it doesn't matter if you are a crypto investor, if you're a creator, it really doesn't matter. What we want is to make sure that folks who have supported the platform uh, are part of this channel, and folks who are just peripherally there, they have access to all the other channels. It's all there. But this insiders channel is the one we pay most attention to in terms of the future strategy and things like that of the platform. So this is going to allow us to have a private channel where we listen to the folks who care the most about the platform. All right, let's look at the next app specific privilege. So right now, you need to either bridge your tokens, your Vitru, or you need to wrap it to access the DEX. So what we're going to do effective immediately is limit bridge and wrap access to passport holders. So what our goal is that as there is more liquidity in the DEXs and as there's a healthy buy and sell trading on the DEXs, we don't know the exact duration on that, but I think all of us can recognize healthy trading and healthy liquidity. We will ease those restrictions to everyone where no passport is required. So essentially what we're saying is if you've got a passport, you have access to the DEXs and access to sex trading, etc. And until we see healthy behavior on those, we are not going to open up the bridge and wrapping functions to everybody. So having a passport is a privilege; it is not a right, and you have to have earned that privilege with all your behavior in the past few months, past year, and we'll that's all on chain. We can see all of that. There's a good record of it. So it's very easy for us to recognize the folks who are supportive of our platform, who are doing everything to ensure its success, versus the folks who are not doing that, who have behavior that is detrimental. So as of right now, the bridge functionality outbound and the wrap functionality is blocked. It will be enabled as soon as we start issuing passports to the passport holders, and our goal is to start issuing them as quickly as possible. So let's look at that. All right, so each passport and wallet will have a daily and monthly limit for bridge and wrap tokens, like a credit limit or ATM card limit. As you know, what we are trying to do is solve the problem of the fact that every time we spend money on marketing, essentially all the tokens that have been granted. Just keep in mind that everyone who's got an OG token right now has been granted that. There's no liquidity to back that up. They've paid nothing to this protocol for it. So we have to counter that, and we have to make sure that there's a responsible flow of it. So each passport wallet will have a quota that will be set proportionate to their contributions. Now, what's most important is that core team members limit will be 0. So we will not be trading at all until everyone can trade. So as long as the passport restriction is in place, it's all the community members who have demonstrated responsible trading will be able to do it. Myself, Mike, H, we will not be able to trade anything. The treasury will sell responsibly just for operating capital. We just need to make sure we can keep the lights on here. So we will sell very responsibly. So most of the trading that's going to occur as we hit the SEX, etc., is from folks in our community who have demonstrated responsible behavior and who we know and who we trust will not just dump and cause the price to tank. We want a very successful progression here on each of these. So going along, what's our schedule? So as of today, the bridge and wrap functionality has been restricted. Next week, we announce full details of the passport claim and issue process on a flashlight. We will remove the 5% limitation on Creator Vault withdrawals. That'll be gone. We will remove the claim restriction on Core Vest contract. You can claim and stake if you wish. We will start issuing passports to our biggest supporters, and we will set up the Vitruveo Insiders channel on Discord. Uh, Past next week, we will continue issuing passports as quickly as we can. Our goal is to recognize, as I said, everyone who has demonstrated supportive behavior for the protocol and get that going. Now, once we launch on the centralized exchange, we're going to monitor that, and really, once we see that things are settled down and we see healthy trading, what we'll do is we'll lift the restrictions where you don't really need a passport anymore, and it'll be open to all at that point. So, Mike, I'm going to take a moment here for you to step in and give some of your comments about the program.
Sure. I did want to address this one comment right here about decentralization versus centralization. You are absolutely right. This is a centralized decision, and there's a reason for that. This mainly applies to tokens that were airdropped, free tokens basically that have no liquidity attached to them. So in order to, because a lot of the vesting was accelerated with boosters and we're going to list, next week, there's just way too much supply from the airdropped tokens from the previous project. So we need to deal with that. Because there's no liquidity backed to those airdrop tokens, we have to just deal with it. And the only way that we can deal with it is to control the supply of those particular tokens. Now, that's why we're making a distinction between, booster buyers, people that have purchased coins, Vortex, Orbit, anybody that has put money into the chain will not have those types of restrictions. It's really just for the granted coins or tokens. So I did want to clarify that there is a distinction, and we're taking a centralized approach on just the airdrop tokens. The other ones, we're not as concerned about it because they've been purchased. So hopefully that clears up that issue. Rich Hudman says, at Nick and Mike, does this mean that the SEX will be pushed? Well, we're going to address that in just a second, but short answer is no.
All right, so let's continue. I'm sure there'll be lots of questions about this, and as I said, we will have more details and a specific flashlight to go into that. So right now, let's look at what our status is. Vibe claims are okay. Vesting claims are currently blocked. They'll be removed next week or even sooner than that, as soon as really, we'll remove them ASAP. Vitru staking is good. Vitru staking is good. Creator Vault restrictions will be removed next week, and wrapping and Vitru bridge out. So there's no restriction on unwrapping, no restriction on bringing tokens in, but these are currently unavailable and will start being available to passport holders next week. So really, what it is selectively folks will be able to use it versus just everybody. And we think it's beneficial to the whole protocol to be able to do that. All right, now let's talk about the topic that everyone wants to hear about, and that is our centralized exchange listing. So we've been mulling this over for a while, and I want to share with you our decision-making process. So there are 5 attributes, 5 core things that we are looking at when we look at our centralized exchange listing. It's cost efficiency. We don't have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars to throw at a listing, and liquidity. We also want to grow our community. That's important. We want to grow our liquidity. That's super important, because other than that, without that, we see flat trading. We want to build our reputation, and we also want to mitigate any risks, in terms of dumping and things like that. So we've done that. We are controlling the risk. We are focused on building our reputation and trying to hit all these attributes. So here's our strategy. This is a 3-pronged strategy. What we want to do is we want to start with a top 30 exchange now. Then we want to add on a top 20 exchange within this quarter. and then we want to get to a top 10 exchange in Q3 or Q4. So that's a very simple strategy: progressively grow and progressively build both our knowledge, our liquidity, and our success, our community growth. So that's the plan. So I'm very pleased to report that we have signed a contract with an exchange. We are going to announce the name and the actual official launch date on January 29th. I'll just have you know that we planned on doing it this month, but we were advised that it is the Chinese Lunar New Year, and everyone's gone for a week, and it would be a terrible time to launch. So we took that advice, and we are going to push it to the first week of February. So on the 29th, we are going to announce the name and the exact date, but it will be after the Lunar New Year holiday, and we're going to be going and being live there. So that is really, really exciting news for us and for the community. By then, we expect to issue lots and lots of passports. So many of you will be ready to start trading. So that is it, folks. That's our news for today. I will enable the link here shortly, but let's take on some questions now.
Okay, we've covered a few of these. Here we go. So Jalen asks, for the Vitruveo passport, deciding who gets one, will their activity in multiple wallets be taken into consideration? Because I stake and buy multiple wallets. Thanks.
Yeah, we'll share all those details, but our goal is to recognize that activity from multiple wallets. But just to be clear, your passport itself will be tied to only one wallet. So we'll take into consideration, as long as we can prove that they belong to you. It should not be a problem.
Okay. Can bad actors use different wallet other than the one that they sell Vitru from and get a passport?
We are linking two things, right? We are linking the Discord ID and a wallet. So I guess this is a team of individuals who are going to look at all the data. So you would have to essentially uh, provide something that really, really pulls the wool over their eyes, I guess, for lack of a better phrase. I don't think people are going to approve passports without being clearly aware, and they might come back with questions, right? So we want to really take this very seriously and not just make it a, oh yeah, here's a wallet, click, you have a passport. It's not going to be like that. We're going to review things, and we are building automated tools to do that. So people won't have to rely on just manually checking Explorer. There will be tools that will give all this information. So I think the likelihood of being able to do that is slim to none.
Yeah. And keep in mind also, guys, that the passport function, we will be developing that or migrating that more into kind of a DAO role or DAO tool, similar to what Nick referenced in the previous slide. But initially, it's just going to be to control the supply and liquidity. Because liquidity is so low right now, we want to make sure that the supply and liquidity ratio is healthy. And then as soon as we have sufficient healthy, there won't be any restrictions whatsoever. So it will then probably convert the passport more into DAO privileges. Thank you for taking steps to mitigate dumping by introducing the passport. Passport will be one wallet per person.
Yes, because recognize this. The intent of the passport is a privilege for those in our community who have shown supportive behavior. Its use in order to control the bridge and wrapping is very temporary. It's maybe performance is great, and in a few weeks everything looks great. We don't have a need to have the passport control that. Is that function of it is very temporary. The main long-term function of it is to recognize folks and build an insiders, a trusted insiders group.
Yeah. Okay, Garfield asks if I'm understanding this. I think I'm good with it, because that means that new coins that are bought are free to trade. Absolutely.
Absolutely. No restrictions there.
The only restrictions are for the free tokens that were given out at Genesis and with creator vaults, let's say, where artwork was purchased with VUSD. These are kind of free granted, tokens, and we have to put some restrictions on those until we have sufficient liquidity, and then we can just open up the door. Okay, keep going. Phantom says, "Can I high five Nick and Mike?" Yes, absolutely. um, let's see. Yeah, so let's address this one. Sellers will sell, but creators won't be incentivized in a platform that adds restrictions as needed. So just as I mentioned before, if somebody is purchasing your artwork with USDC, there's no restrictions at all. The restrictions only apply to the buying blitzes that Nick was doing to incentivize creators to onboard. These were purchased with VUSD. Those are not backed by liquidity or anything like that. It's just think of it as like an IOU in order to get them, to encourage them to join the platform, build out their store, catch the vision, and then when sufficient liquidity is built, then those IOUs are paid. So it's a temporary stepping stone that we have to do, leading up to the list. But the buying blitzes were incentives in order to, build creators on the platform. But there are no restrictions whatsoever if the artwork is purchased with USDC.
Yeah, I want to elaborate a little bit on that. We make it very clear every step of the way that right now we are welcoming creators who want to grow and build with us. So if the intent of the creators is primarily just to focus on the commerce aspect, sell their art and make money, this is not the right time for them to be joining us. So mostly all the creators who are on here are ones who are giving us feedback, participating in betas, etc. They all know that we are still building the platform. This is a brand new L1 platform that's creator focused, that's building and growing. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a lot of work, and it has a lot of moving parts. We are innovating, we are changing things, and it doesn't happen with the flip of a switch. So once we have transitioned, once we are there where all the features are in place, etc., we have no desire at all to restrict anyone and do anything. But right now we have to do it because, as I said earlier, survival. It's a survival thing. We have to grow and get to the point where we can be free of restrictions. So our restrictions are not intentional to prevent creators from being successful. We are not a corporation. We have no profit motive. Our goal is to be as open and free as possible. But in order to get there, we have to take this approach because otherwise we won't get there. That's plain and simple. There's no way we can get to our goal if we don't impose restrictions right now.
Yeah. Billy asks a good question. What's the benefit of linking a wallet to a Discord account to name and shame the sellers? So, Nick, do you want to tackle that?
We have no intention
That's
of
certainly
naming and
not the
shaming
intention.
anybody. We have no
Yeah.
intention of naming and shaming anybody. We are doing is evaluating the behavior. Like I said, the passport is a privilege for insiders, and your wallet and your Discord are basically the way we can identify: are you a supporter of the platform or are you not? It's that simple. So we don't have any desire to publicize this or name and shame anyone. We just want to issue a passport and say, okay, you have access to the Vitruveo Insiders channel, and while we are growing our DEX and centralized exchange liquidity and community, until then you have privileged access to it. After that, it'll be public anyway. Anyone will be able to access it. It's a short-term measure, folks. That's the important thing. Anyone who finds this as a problem is likely most interested in just selling their coins, and we recognize you want to do that, but also recognize that for a seller, for you to sell, someone has to be willing to buy. That's just very basic. If there's no one to buy, what's the point? You can have a desire to sell as much as you want, but no one's going to buy. So creating liquidity is important. We have to do this. Otherwise, it's not going to work. If someone is dead set against this approach, please write us a check for $150,000 and we will immediately just ditch this idea. We will apply that entirely to liquidity, and you can have free flow of tokens, no problem. So that's the going rate here, $150,000.
Yeah, I mean, the overall consensus, people love it because they understand the math behind the strategy that if you do have way too much supply relative to liquidity, it's not going to survive. The coin's not going to survive. The blockchain's not going to survive. The projects aren't going to survive. Nothing is going to survive. So we have to manually manage this, at least until the liquidity is built, and then we can open up the doors. You also have to remember, we're not technically open yet. We our MVPs are still being built out. We're still in beta. So it's almost like the store's not open yet, guys. So we can't necessarily strip the reserves that we have, going into opening everything up. So it's just kind of basic business common sense. Let's see. Some of these comments are funny. Yeah, there was a question about President Trump's executive order. I posted a summary of that in Discord. All good things that he's doing. It's really, really, really good.
Yeah, I just want to point out that just about everyone who I see here, these are regular folks. They are always supportive. They are the ones who have staked, etc. I see no issue with them being issued a passport. It's a shoo-in, right? It's very simple. So our goal is not to create barriers for the folks who have been supportive of us. In fact, we want to encourage it. So I see it's an easy way for most of the folks who have been very supportive of us to get their passports.
Yeah. There was another. I know, Billy, you've made a few comments. I'm happy to address. It's probably not the forum to do it on the live, but I'm happy to have a conversation with you just to kind of help, clarify some of your questions. But the vault restrictions, all of that has been public for, I mean, every Friday, every space that we've done, X space, every X space that Mystique has done, Pam has done, has discussed vault restrictions for the creators because these are granted coins that we're purchasing the artwork with. We made the preference that if you're looking to cash out at this point and you want to treat Vitruveo as a marketplace, now's not the time. Definitely come back Q1 2025. We've stated that countless times. And
There's
in
also a
terms of the
giant banner in studio that informs people of that. So it's
yeah.
present there very clearly. So
Yeah, we've really gone out of our way to try to explain to creators that, hey guys, this is just a beta. We're onboarding artists right now. We're in development stage now. It's not the time to cash out. Don't use artwork that use artwork that you don't necessarily need to generate revenue from at this time during the beta stage. Generate through OpenSea or Tezos or some of the other marketplaces. Continue to generate revenue. But the money that we're going to be purchasing your artwork on chain is going to be through VUSD, not USDC. And there will be vault restrictions on those purchases until sufficient liquidity has been raised. So, yeah, but I'm happy to have a conversation about that. If you want to reach out, we can have a great conversation.
I'll let Gus just comment.
Hmm?
Gus, I can prove I'm an American citizen. Please
I know,
comment.
I know. I've been seeing all these ICE comments and people getting nervous. No, you guys, it's all
No
good things.
deportation.
No, we're not going to deport you. We're not going to ban you. This is all good stuff. Um, let's see. Yeah, keep going through. Nick, do you see any more?
No, guys, just remember that the passport measure is first and foremost to reward, folks who are supportive, and it's used in order to control the trading is temporary. That's the most important point I want to make. It is completely temporary. As soon as we see progress, those it comes off. There's no need for passport holders there, right? So it is a measure we have to put in place because of survival. That's it. We have to
Mhm.
survive.
Yeah.
I think that's about it. We have a bunch of flashlights to plan this week. We have to do the one for the passport. We have to do the one for the exchange. We have to do one for the project partner. So looks like you'll be seeing a lot more of us this coming week.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm kind of going through. I think we covered everything. Yeah. I think that's good. That's good for now.
All right.
So yeah, so good news. We're on track for our central exchange. Paperwork signed. We're ready to go. We'll do our best to manage supply so that because remember, guys, if this thing trades flat, it's not going to be a good thing. So we really want to set it up for success. Um, and we have another upcoming big announcement on Tuesday in terms of that new project that's going to be coming on board. And then we're going to be building out our marketing strategy, over the next remaining week, week and a half, until the central exchange. Once we have the firm date on the list, guys, we'll go ahead and let the community know. Probably next Friday, we'll probably announce everything in terms of the name, and our second central exchange that will be listed on, and potentially a third. So we'll have all of that data put together next Friday. But Nick, any closing
Yeah, I'm just
comments,
excited to
questions?
see that the stake number went up while we are talking. So that's great. I appreciate that. Thank you. We'll get that claim uh, uh, activated again. So maybe you've got some coins that are vested. If you could stake them,
Yeah,
we would appreciate that very much. And we'll get those new staking programs also in place ASAP, so we can hit our goal. Because and I want to thank Garfield again for issuing this challenge. I'm pretty confident we are going to make it. So really, really exciting. So thank you everyone, and we'll continue surging ahead. Thank you so much. Have a
yeah.
great weekend. Bye bye.
Bye, guys.